So, John, have you ever dreamed a dream of time gone by? You're staring at me with a very blank look on your face.
Oh, sorry, I thought there was going to be more to that question.
No.
I thought it was going to end it, and if so, what was it about?
Well,
I mean, I guess that's implied. It's
yeah.
fine.
Yeah.
But I had a weird dream last night, as it happens. No, I dreamt that... You look very concerned. It's all right, you weren't in it.
Okay.
No, I dreamed I was sat somewhere, like maybe here, maybe in some kind of social situation, like with people, but no one specific.
You dreamt you had friends?
I dreamt I had friends. I know, it was such a bizarre one, yeah. But no, that's really sad then. I dreamed a dream that I had friends. No, I dreamt that I was like sat in a group situation, and there was a dead pheasant on my leg, like on my foot.
I had the same dream.
Really?
No, of course not.
Wow, that would be... Yeah, but it was one of those things where I was like, it was there, and I knew it was there, and I was thinking to myself, that looks really weird. I should probably get that off my foot, because obviously there were people around. And so I was trying to like surreptitiously get this giant dead pheasant off my foot.
Was it a slipper?
No, it was just lying there dead, like a spread eagle. Like I had my feet up, and it was just spread eagle, like across my ankles or something. Yeah. Just like a big male dead blue pheasant.
Yeah.
And it was quite embarrassing and strange. I don't know what that represents. Probably sexual frustration. They all deep down represent sexual frustration.
With your mother or something.
Sure.
That's generally it.
Yeah.
All comes down to the parents. Weird. Okay.
Yeah.
Are you trying to fly away? Is that thing you're...
Well, the pheasant is famously a flightless bird.
You're tired of walking everywhere, so you want to fly away, but your ambitions are so low that, you know...
The humble pheasant is as far as...
It tried flying and it didn't go so well.
It got shot down pretty quickly, yeah. Yeah. It's a metaphor for my career, I guess.
Some films are fine just the way they are. Other films sometimes take it way too far. But really, how bad could it get? Let's go beyond the box set.
Welcome everybody to the 150th episode of Beyond the Box Set, the podcast where today we are going to be pitching prequels, sequels and spin-offs to Tom Hooper's masterpiece, Les Miserables.
Yeah, that woohoo at the start is as happy as I'm going to sound in this episode. So.
We'll also be pitching some drinking games and hearing from our listeners with the ideas they've put in our Facebook and Twitter pages. But first we're going to talk about some of our favourite moments, or I guess least favourite moments from the film, and a bit of a plot summary. I'm Harry, the host with the most tonally accurate singing voice.
Sure.
However, I cannot speak, it seems.
No, not tonight, no.
And joining me as always...
Have you sold some teeth? Is that what's happened today?
Have you sold your hair?
Yes, years ago. Very generously.
You can tell, yeah.
Yeah, that's how I afford this apartment, so you're welcome.
And joining me as always is the jellicle screaming cat that is John Lucas.
Wrong musical, but sure. I'll take that. Could have been worse.
Near enough. 150.
150. Congratulations to us.
Yeah.
I
feel like we've done pretty well.
I should have got us a cake. I forgot. Oh well.
We didn't give me a cake for the last.
We got a cake for the 100th.
Did we?
Or maybe the 50th. I definitely.
The 100th was a live show.
We got a cake. Maybe it was for 50 then. There was definitely a landmark one where I got us a little cake. I remember it distinctly.
Okay.
Maybe it was Forrest Gump. Anyway,
maybe.
There's no cake. I'm sorry.
Sure. Well, instead I brought a spreadsheet full of stats.
Oh, great.
Yeah, I've been getting quite bored recently, and what I do is I make spreadsheets.
Okay.
Turns out that you've picked 50 episodes of the 150 that we've done.
Only 50?
Yep. Okay. I've only picked 49.
Okay. So we've had 50 guest episodes?
We've had 51 guest episodes.
Wow.
Guest or like...
suggestions
or just anything that's not either your or my choice.
Oh, wow. Okay, that's interesting. Well, I think I like that. It means we're getting exposed to each other's tastes and also... the tastes of the people.
Yeah. And 56% of the films we've done I have not seen before. Okay.
I'm surprised that's that low, to be honest.
Yeah.
I thought it'd be in the mid-90s.
Well, you've got to remember that I'm picking a third of them. So
well, that's true.
There's that. Of your choices, I've not seen 80% of them.
That makes more sense.
Yeah.
Well, I deliberately try and choose films you've not seen because I'm trying to, like I said, I'm trying to, broaden your horizons.
Yeah. 30% of the films that I've seen, that I've chosen, I've not seen.
Okay.
So, I'm doing the same to an extent, but not largely. Anyway, that's the end
of stats corner.
Yeah, I'm not going to go too long, or else it'll get boring, wouldn't it? So, Les Miserables.
Les Miserables, yes. Heaven forbid something go on for too long and get boring.
You bitch.
I mean, my God.
Is this film boring?
I find this film unbelievably tedious.
Yeah.
You know, I had to watch it a third time.
Wait, why?
Because, so I saw this film in the cinema.
Yeah.
And I would honestly describe it as the worst cinema experience.
Whoa.
In the top 3 worst.
What else is up there?
Well, I didn't walk out of it like I walked out of Dude, Where's My Car? So that's always at the high point for me. But this, I mean, I think I'm
it's better than Dude, Where's My Car?
I'm not even sure it is. I just think I'm more, like, inclined to be bloody-minded and sit through to the end. I can't imagine what I would walk out of in the cinema now unless it was something that was, like, profoundly upsetting me.
Was this film a better or worse cinema experience than Predator?
Oh, Predator was just forgettable and bland, but I wasn't... No, this was worse.
I think it was at the time. Like, I listened back to a bit of our review of that, and you were very passionately like, I wish that we'd left.
Maybe, no, but yeah, but I mean, I can't remember while watching Predator literally clawing at my chair in absolute desperation for it to end.
Was this that bad?
It really was. For me, it really was. Like, I can see the appeal, but I don't know the musical. It's not one that I'm familiar with or passionate about. I don't particularly like the songs. It is so long. It's so long, and all the good songs are in the first half hour of this 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah, well, there's the ones either side of the intermission.
I guess Do You Hear the People Sing's all right.
Yeah.
Like, or maybe half an hour's pushing it, but most of the good songs are in the first half.
One More Day.
How does that one go again?
One More Day. That's all I remember.
Just sing the words. Like, no, I Dreamed a Dream is a good song.
Yeah.
Do You Hear the People Sing, I guess, is a good song.
Yeah.
Master of the House is my favourite song.
That's a good one, yeah.
Yeah. They're all like definitely the first 90 minutes at least of this 2.5 hour movie.
Yeah.
And then the end, honestly, I would say the end of this film has more false endings than The Return of the fucking King. It just keeps going.
Does it?
Yeah. Like, I remember when I saw this in the cinema, I must have seen it on a late night or at the end of its run or something, because it was very popular. But when I went to see it, it was in an empty screen, so I was on my own.
I suppose ever, like, past the blockade,
Yeah.
like, as soon as the blockade falls, that's when it really should be wrapping up.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, you're right there, and that's like a good hour before the end or something.
It truly, truly is, yeah.
Yeah.
Got to follow fucking Hugh Jackman very slowly deciding to die. But no, the bit where... and we'll get to it, but the bit where Russell Crowe's character has his suicide song...
Yeah.
At that point, I never do this, but I genuinely lost my mind for a second, and just midway through that song, I like shouted at the screen, "Just die!"
Wow.
I'm so thankful I was alone, because I would have been kicked out. But like, it was that it was that much for me. But yeah, so I saw this in the cinema, and after walking out, I vowed never to watch that film again. I was like, that is one of the worst. That is decidedly not for me. Never again. Then you picked it last week.
Yeah.
And it's been like 5 or 6 years since it came out. So I was like, okay, fine. I'm not going to be a bitch about it. I'll watch the damn film.
So me and John went to our friend Charlotte's, my ex-housemate, because we went to go and watch the Golden Globes. And I thought, okay, well, John is passionately against this film, after, me announcing it last week.
Sure.
So I thought, let's make it a bit better. Let's all, like, drink to it and watch it all together, and it'll be a bit fun. It'll be a bit of a fun time.
I know, that was you had the right idea.
And did it help?
Maybe. The thing is, yes, it was much more bearable watching it with you and Charlotte.
Yeah.
But the thing is, I wasn't really watching it.
Yeah.
Because
John did suggest, guys, we could watch Marriage Story instead. That sounds like a good time.
I said, well, only because you guys haven't seen it, and it's one of the most nominated films.
Yeah.
So you're gonna have to watch it at some point. And
And how many did it win?
One. No, it won one. Laura Dern won one. Best Supporting Actress.
That's not an important category.
Well, she still won one.
Who even is she?
I
know.
The best part of The Last Jedi. The most consistently written character in The Last Jedi, whose decisions all make total sense. Anyway, different podcast. Purple-haired lady who calls...
No, I did know who she was.
Okay. Now, the reason was that I spent the first, 90 minutes of that film trying to set up our stream for the Golden Globes. And so I wasn't really watching the film. So when it came to this week, thinking about, I'm going to have to do a sequel and talk about this film, I was like, oh crap, I'm going to have to watch it again, aren't I? Because I was really checked out. So I had to watch it again last night.
Wow. Okay, I'm not taking any kind of blame for that.
No, that's all on me. That's all. Yeah. I often watch films twice if I'm going to be talking about them. But so I watched it again last night, and oh my god, the sheer endlessness of it all. So, yeah, long story short, not my cup of tea.
No.
Yeah.
Would you ever watch it again?
I can't imagine any time when I would need to now. At least we've got it out of the way. You know what? It's like you and Glenn Close season.
Yeah.
Yes, it was bad. That will never happen again. You know? That's done.
Yeah.
I have crossed the Les Mis bridge.
I wonder if there's any way that I can force you to watch it in some way. Like, I can't force you on Two Geeks, Two Movies. Maybe start a new podcast sometime. I don't know. Whatever.
Well, we live in hope. So what about you? I'm guessing you have a higher opinion of it than I do.
No, I really like this.
Okay.
I really enjoy it.
Do you know the musical first, or?
No, I know the film first. I've not actually seen a stage show.
Okay, so what do you like about it?
I like the music.
Sure.
Find a lot of the music quite catchy. I mean, you've named all the good songs, but I think most of the music around between those songs is just it's conversational music, which I don't know if that's new to this.
Yeah, I think that's
I'm sure there are other stage shows that have done this where they just sing everything.
Yeah, Evita does that too. Okay. I think it's called an operetta or a rock opera.
Right, okay.
Yeah. There's a style of musical like, say, Mamma Mia, where they'll be talking and dialogue and then suddenly song and dance. And I think I like those musicals.
Yeah.
Because then you've got conversations happening, you've got a bit of a plot going on, and then when the music hits, you've got a full song, and it's its own thing, and it's usually pretty catchy, you know. You know, obviously mileage may vary, but on the whole, it'll be its own song. Whereas this, for every one really good song, and there are a couple, I'm not denying it, there are at least 3 that are so boring, and that are just like flat, like exposition songs.
Yeah, because those ones, they're not really specific songs.
Well, some of them are. Like Russell Crowe's Suicide, all of Russell Crowe's songs, maybe it's just because he can't sing very well, but all of his songs were bad.
Okay, yes, I think all of his songs were bad. He only does have about one... Oh, he's got the other one where him and Hugh Jackman are fighting in the hospital or whatever.
Yeah.
That's a good one. When they're both singing against each other, it's great.
Well, they're not singing against each other. Hugh Jackman's singing and Russell Crowe's barking.
No, they're both singing. They're both good.
I really cannot deal with Russell Crowe in this film.
Russell Crowe is singing fine, just a lot of the music has a lot of, like, off-tone notes.
But I feel like maybe it's written around the fact that he does... It's like it must be written around his lack of talent.
Did they rewrite any of the music?
I mean, like, they know how to change the keys. I don't know. I didn't like him. If that's what he's like, if that's what Javert as a character is like in the stage show, then I just don't like that character, and I don't like his songs or the way his songs are in.
Sure,
so that's just me.
Sure.
Okay. I'm just saying. So yeah, that's my problem.
Okay. Well, I think I should do a plot summary.
Go ahead. Sorry, I'll shut up
because we're getting into it and. Dear God, you're going off on one.
Sorry, okay, I'll strip it back. Tell you plot summary. I mean, this could take a while because there's a lot going on in this film.
Well, yeah, we'll get through it. So we start off with Hugh Jackman and a bunch of other... They were slaves, right?
Prisoners, yes.
Yeah, the person who's kind of overseeing this is Russell Crowe, playing Javert.
Javert, yeah. We know this because he sings his name very quickly.
And I am Javert!
Yeah, there's a lot of that.
All the time.
Yeah. It's like he's obsessed with his own name.
Yeah, it's weird, right?
My name is Javert.
Yeah, and because Hugh Jackman looks at him, Javert instantly hates Hugh Jackman, and they become each other's nemesis.
They never really... Obviously, he's got a general disdain for lawbreakers. Yeah. But why he becomes so specifically obsessed with this one guy...
I don't know.
Presumably hundreds.
Yeah.
For the rest of his life, they never explain why that happens. It's like, aren't there other cases you could be following up on?
Yeah.
Like, as Hugh Jackman explains at the start, he literally is in prison for stealing a loaf of bread. And whether or not Russell Crowe thinks, you know what, that's a crime is a crime, still, I bet there's rapists there, murderers, just prioritise.
Yeah.
Maybe bread guy is not your number one priority to get back into the system, you know?
Yeah.
Well, whatever,
Yeah. So, anyway, Hugh Jackman, he sort of shows attitude towards Russell Crowe.
I mean, barely, but sure, yeah.
Well, first of all, he looks at him, that's it. Then Russell Crowe's like, hey, get me that flag. So he gets the flag, and it's really heavy, and he does it anyway, and you're like, oh, whoa, Wolverine, ooh.
Do you think because Hugh Jackman looks like shit in this scene, but do you think because Hugh Jackman's quite hot generally, do you reckon it's like a psychosexual thing where Russell Crowe's like, this is raising feelings I don't like, he must die, because he always has that like nervous like energy about him, like, he
could be. Yeah. It's an interesting theory.
That could be a reading of it, yeah. So,
yeah, and so then he does it, and Hugh Jackman's like, my name is Jean Valjean, or whatever. And
you put on way more of a French accent than
I meant to.
Than Hugh Jackman attempted either. Hugh Jackman in the first few scenes sounded Northern Irish.
Well, no one's trying to be French in this. Everyone's English.
We'll get to that, but mostly you are correct.
Yeah. Sure, yeah. Yeah, then somehow we cut to the next scene. Hugh Jackman has escaped, I guess.
No, he in the first scene he has served his time. He's on parole. So he's on parole, which means he's free, but he has to stay in the city and he has to report back every 30 days or something. And it's really hard for him to get any kind of job or shelter. So he ends up homeless because no one wants to hire an ex-con. He ends up seeking sanctuary in a church, and a kindly old bishop, played by a guy who, I think his name's Colin Wilkinson, who played the original Jean Valjean in the stage musical. So little nod to the original there.
Very good.
But he kindly lets him in and grants him sanctuary. But then Jean Valjean repays that kindness by stealing all his candlesticks, all his all his riches,
all his silver.
all his silver.
Yeah.
Gets caught. The police bring him back to the church. And then the bishop very kindly says, "Oh no, I gave him all that stuff. Here, have more." The bishop lies to kind of spare him from going back to jail, and then the bishop tells him, "Look, I've done you this good deed now. Take the silver that you stole, but you have to promise me you're going to make a better life for yourself and be a good man out of it." And that's how Hugh Jackman then breaks parole, runs away, starts a new life as a kind of on the run con.
Yeah, and then hard cut to 5 years later.
9, I think it is. 7 or 9.
Sure. Okay. It felt 9 years later. Am I right?
Oh yeah.
So now Hugh Jackman is like the mayor of a town, I think.
Something like that.
He's done well for himself.
He has really.
He's done very well for himself.
He has definitely climbed upwards. Yeah.
Yeah. And
because if you want to keep a low profile, if you're like a wanted criminal, maybe don't go into public office.
Yeah.
It's just a thought. There's other careers, but
yeah, but it's probably quite easy to just make yourself a new identity.
Oh, sure, yeah. I mean, he shaved, he put on a bit of weight, he looked a lot better,
Yeah. Anyway, now we start centering on Anne Hathaway's character. I forget if she has a name.
Fantine,
that's it.
Yes, she's working at one of his like factories or mills or something, owned by Hugh Jackman, or Valjean. Yeah.
Yes, and well, for whatever reason that doesn't go so well. Why did she get kicked out of that again?
She seems to be absolutely hated by all of the other women.
Yeah, everybody hates her, and I've no idea why. Because I would assume that at least one of them is going through the same thing, if not multiple of them are going through the same thing as her.
Because it turns out one of the you pointed her out straight away. One of the like side characters is this like lady with very sharp cheekbones.
Yeah,
and you said while we were watching it last week, you said, well, this actress clearly only ever plays bitches because she's just got that face.
Yeah,
she definitely has resting like villain face. They find out that she has a daughter and that she's sending money to that daughter. The daughter's being looked after by some local innkeepers who we will meet later, and she's sending money to them. And they find out about this, and all the women just lose their shit. They're just like, "This is unacceptable. She must be kicked out immediately."
Yeah.
For why?
Yeah, I don't know. Like,
what's wrong with that?
Because she's got a daughter and she's doing her best to.
Yeah. They never even said that like it was an illegitimate daughter, like it was a quote unquote sin. Like she said the father left her. Never said whether they were married or not. Maybe I didn't understand why they had it in for her so much.
No.
Maybe Fantine was just a right bitch. Maybe she just was very unlikable, and this was their moment to like bring her down a peg.
Yeah, maybe.
Was the only thing I could think of.
Or maybe just like on her first day of work, she did something embarrassing. She farted.
Possibly, yeah. That's enough, yeah.
Yeah, and then everybody's been bullying her, and
because she doesn't have a friend in the place. Not one woman tries to help her. It's all of them are just like out.
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And so she gets kicked out, like literally kicked out of the door,
through the door onto the streets. Well, the thing is, Hugh Jackman is Jean Valjean, I should say. Valjean is there at the time, and she screams out, take pity on me, sir. But he's distracted because for the first of many times in the movie that will happen in this movie,
Javert pops out of nowhere.
Yeah, just lurking around a doorway. And I presume it's the first time they've seen each other in all these years. Javert doesn't recognise Valjean, but Valjean is suitably distracted that he doesn't notice or doesn't pay attention to the fact that this poor lady Fantine is being kicked out of his factory. So she gets cast out onto the streets.
Yeah, and then suddenly there's a commotion on the street, and Hugh Jackman rushes out, and there's a man underneath a cart that's fallen on him.
Oh yeah,
and nobody else can lift it, and so Hugh Jackman, he lifts it, and then Russell Crowe's like,
I remember.
I've seen a man lift a thing before.
Yeah, it's like he recognises Hugh Jackman because he's so hench. Yeah. It's like this was really what played into my.
I think maybe what you're about to say. I think he probably just got the same feelings, downstairs.
Yeah.
Like
damn, one shoulder.
Yeah, and so then does Russell Crowe just leave?
Russell Crowe. That starts Russell Crowe's suspicions, but he doesn't quite fully. He doesn't quite fully accuse him just yet. It sets his wheels in motion. But then Oh, that's it. But then another man ends up getting arrested for breaking parole.
Yeah.
Is mistaken for Valjean, basically.
Yeah.
And so Russell Crowe assumes he's made a mistake, goes to apologise to Valjean, because Russell Crowe's character is very, like, by the book, incredibly, like, almost pathologically, does the right thing. Or not does the right thing, but follows the rules. And so he says, I'm really sorry, I mistook you for someone else, and I almost told people, but now it turns out the real Jean Valjean, or the real 82601, which is his code name, is
24601.
24601.
Come
Sorry,
on, John,
I can't believe that
come
wasn't
on.
burned into my brain. 24601 has been caught and is going to go down or whatever, maybe get killed, but I don't know. And this makes Hugh Jackman full of guilt, and he decides he's going to have to go and
Own up.
Yes. But before that happens, he runs into Fantine again. Well, we get Fantine's. Before that happens, we go to Fantine's terrible fall from grace.
Yeah, so she, now without a job, seems to be immediately homeless.
Yeah. It all goes downhill very quickly for Fantine.
Yes, and so she goes down to wherever all the prostitutes hang out, basically.
The docks.
Was it the docks?
It's always the docks, yeah.
And she's looking for work there, and she's like, well, I don't really want to give anything or do anything, but, can I have some money? And they're like, yeah, give us your teeth, give us your hair, go and lie there for a bit.
Yeah.
And she does all three of those things.
I would say in the wrong order.
Yeah. Yeah.
I mean, not to judge any woman's choices, but if you want to make a go of it as a sex worker, maybe keep your hair and teeth. You can probably charge more.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, she seems to do well.
I mean, maybe there was a little bit of a time jump that we missed. Maybe she sold her teeth, that wasn't enough. And so it's like, fine, cut my hair then.
I think the hair went first.
Was it the hair that
It went hair, teeth, virtue.
Okay, sure. Maybe she didn't plan on becoming a prostitute. She thought that she could.
Nobody plans to become a prostitute, Harry. It just happens, okay?
Maybe she thought that she could, get by just by selling her teeth and her hair.
Sure, yeah. I mean, it's a short-term plan.
Yeah. Totally.
But no, to be serious for a second, she's desperate because the innkeepers, they're called the Thénardiers, who, as I said, we'll meet later, who are looking after her daughter, keep writing her letters saying that her daughter's very sick and desperately needs medicine. Basically, they are, we find out later, just taking money off her.
Yeah.
But she doesn't know that. So she's desperate. She thinks if she doesn't make money right away to send to her daughter will die. So it is desperation, basically. Yeah. Her daughter, who's called Cosette.
Cosette.
Yes. Not Courgette, not Colette. Cosette. Yeah.
Sure. Yeah, and so that's when Anne Hathaway wins her Oscar.
She does. So she gets a man attacks her, and then she fights back, scratches his face or something, and then he calls the police. He calls out to Javert and the police, and basically she's about to get arrested.
Well, I think the police they're there already.
Well, yeah, because Javert,
they just pop up out of. It's not Javert. It's just regular police.
No, he's there.
Is he?
He's definitely there.
Because then Jean Valjean saves her.
Yeah, he does, but they don't know yet that he doesn't know yet.
I don't remember Javert being there.
No, Javert is there because Javert is everywhere.
Ah, true.
He's like a fucking X-Man. He just appears whenever there's a crime. So she's about to get arrested, and then Jean Valjean happens to be there, and he takes pity on her, and he asks her how she fell so low, and she says, "It's you. You did this to me. You looked the other way while I was kicked out onto the streets." And he's overcome with guilt. He saves her, takes her back to his place, and tries to nurse her back to health, or takes her to the hospital maybe. Yeah. But but before that, she sings her song. Yes. I forgot that in between that she sings "I Dreamed a Dream," which is her big number.
It's the big one of the film.
The big number of the song. And it's it is her memory. This is what I mean. It's like it's exactly the same as Cats. It's like sad lady sings song about sad life, wins Oscar. I mean, not that Jennifer Hudson's going to win an Oscar for that. In another world, in another life.
Yeah, Taylor Swift maybe.
Yeah, she won the ability to die in that film.
I'm told that Taylor Swift got a Golden Globe nomination over Jennifer Hudson.
Well, it was for the song.
Oh, it was original song. That's
it wasn't for a performance.
Sorry, yes, my bad. Take it back.
So I Dreamed a Dream, which is a very, very good performance. Yes. It's great.
And so then she goes to hospital where she promptly dies while speaking to Jean Valjean, and she's like, I have a daughter. And he's like, all right, cool.
Yeah. Well, he promises to rescue her daughter, and that her daughter will want for nothing in this life, to make amends, I guess. And
then, again, out of nowhere, Javert pops up the moment that Anne Hathaway passes.
Yeah.
Like, the instant.
I want us to see, like, a side movie of him just, like, skulking around, like, waiting for his most dramatic moments to make his big entrance.
Yeah.
He's just a big old queen. He just likes to be melodramatic all the time. Yeah, this was not something I'd thought about before we started recording, but now the more I talk about it, the more I'm really buying into this Javert is gay theory.
Yeah. I'm not quite sure if it's definitely real or not. So if you could watch it again and let me know, please.
Oh, okay, sure. It was just the once more.
Yeah, please. So yeah, then Javert and Hugh Jackman and Russell Crowe,
There we go. Yeah.
They have a sword fight with a sword and a piece of wood.
Yep. No symbolism there whatsoever.
While while both singing songs.
Yeah.
Which I really enjoyed.
Yeah.
I really liked that scene. And Hugh Jackman runs away.
Yeah. Oh, they're like not really negotiating because Javert is in no negotiating state of mind. But Hugh Jackman's like, look, I need to save this little girl, and then I'll come back and I will give myself up willingly.
Yeah.
But Javert's having none of it, and so Hugh Jackman's forced to escape.
Yeah.
And jumps into the river and disappears for another 7 or 8 years.
Yes. Well, no.
Well, he saves Colette first. Cosette first.
So yeah, then we go to the.
We meet Cosette. We go to the inn.
We go to the inn. We get, I guess, your favourite song of the
March of the House
of the film.
Yes. So this is the Thénardiers. That's what the characters are called. They are played by Sacha Baron Cohen and Helena Bonham Carter. Mm-hmm. And this was like
They're fantastic in this.
They are a welcome blast of like fun and silliness in a musical that is mostly very sad, serious, and boring. Right? Yeah. No, this is easily my favourite song. Mm-hmm. I do have questions. Mm-hmm. Okay, so Sacha Baron Cohen.
Yeah.
This film, as we mentioned earlier, set in France.
Mm-hmm.
Every character is just speaking in an English accent. Mm-hmm. Why is his character the only one who's putting on like a very fake French accent?
I don't know. Maybe just he was the only person who could get away with it, and Tom Hooper just let him because he's Sacha Baron Cohen.
Even Helena Bonham Carter, like nothing, like she's just doing her regular accent.
Yeah.
For some reason, he's like the chef from The Little Mermaid. It's like...
It could be that he's like a con man. Like nothing about him is real.
That's true. Nothing about him is authentic. He also dips in and out. He also goes from like Cockney to French, like kind of interchangeably for some reason.
Yeah.
You know?
But yeah, you're right.
I'm not complaining. I just thought it was a weird choice.
I would have liked it because there was a time when Hugh Jackman does say to Cosette later on that like, okay, we'll get on the train to London. I'd have loved it if they'd gone to London. Everyone there has
everyone was French. Yeah. Exactly, just play with it, have a bit of fun.
Yeah. Bonham Carter, they run this inn/pub
that must get no return visitors whatsoever.
Surely not, no. Mm-hmm. Unless they just get everybody drunk out of their mind and they just forget stuff.
That seems to be basically what their business plan is, yeah.
Yeah.
The whole song is about how they just get everyone pissed and steal all their stuff from them, including eyes, glasses, fake legs. Mm-hmm. They sell them beer that's basically watered down piss. Mm-hmm. The food they serve is like ground up cat tails and hats and fake legs and also it's pretty grotesque.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Also, your favourite character pops up in this scene.
Oh.
Santa.
Oh, yes.
Bizarre little runner in this song with which the only reference to any part of this film happening around Christmas, but there's a Santa Claus operating outside the pub who gets dragged in, then a lady dressed as an elf has sex with him, and then he gets kicked out at the end. What a weird choice. I'm not seeing it, but I'm pretty sure that's not in the stage show. I mean, listeners, correct me if I'm wrong, but
maybe.
What an odd choice that was.
I mean, this whole part of the film feels like a different film.
It really does. It feels like it feels like Sweeney Todd.
Yeah.
Because it's basically two characters from Sweeney Todd playing much the same character. A con man and a woman who's a terrible innkeeper. Mm-hmm. Basically the same characters.
Yeah.
But yes, they are looking after Cosette.
Mm-hmm. And another little girl.
They have their own little girl, Éponine.
Mm-hmm. Well, basically, Hugh Jackman comes in and says, hey, I'm taking Cosette with me.
Yes. They don't actually care because they treat her horribly. She's like a little Cinderella girl.
Oh, he just buys her, that's it.
Basically, he finds her wandering in the woods, takes her back, but they pretend that they care about her, even though Sacha Baron Cohen's character can't even remember her name, which is a funny little running joke.
Yeah.
But yeah, they basically try and get as much money out of him as possible.
Mm-hmm. Yes, then Hugh Jackman and Cosette run away into the distance and cut to like 15, 20 years later or something.
Well, yeah, because there's another run-in with Javert, and so Hugh Jackman runs away with Cosette, and then they go into hiding for another... I think they leave town for another 7 years.
Yes. Well, it's enough for Cosette to turn into, what's her face from Mamma Mia?
Amanda Seyfried, yeah.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. And I'm getting the impression they're supposed to be like early 20s? Maybe,
I think
late
Cosette's like 16, 17.
Really?
Yeah, I think so at this point, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, Amanda Seyfried was definitely older than that, but you know.
Yeah, I mean, Amanda Seyfried, she just has that look about her that she is just perpetually 16.
Pretty much, yeah.
Gets weird sometimes.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Yeah, so then what? happens.
Well, this is when we meet.
So I think we then cut to Hugh Jackman and Amanda Seyfried walking through the street together, and just across the street there is what's his face.
Oh, Eddie Redmayne, Fish Face.
Your favourite actor.
Yeah. This was the film that really definitively made me realise that whatever Eddie Redmayne is selling, I'm not buying.
And they fall in love instantly.
I hated this.
Love at first sight.
Also, Éponine comes back, the Thénardier's daughter, now played by Samantha Barks, and she is madly in love with him.
Yeah.
But he seems to basically ignore her.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like she doesn't exist.
Pretty much, yeah. This is the thing. He is such a prat. And I really couldn't buy into this love story because he was just such an unworthy prat.
No.
Fair enough if he doesn't love Samantha Barks' character, Éponine, that's fine. Not everyone falls in love with their friends. But, the fact that he falls in love with a girl who he literally glances at, and the entire time he's like, "Oh, Éponine, help me! I love this girl." He treats her like absolute shit. Éponine deserves well better.
She takes a bullet for him.
She literally takes a bullet. He's like, "Oh, thanks, babes. Night." Yeah, she fucking deserves.
She dies for him.
Yeah, and he barely cares.
Yeah.
He's like, "Oh, a letter." Yeah, he's even putting aside my general disdain for Eddie Redmayne, Marius is the worst. So I never cared about this love story.
No, that's absolutely fair. He is terrible in this. But yet we are supposed to like him, I think.
Yeah.
Him and Amanda Seyfried were supposed to buy them together.
That's what I mean. These are supposed to be the people we root for in the second half, and not at all. She's not even a character.
No.
It's shocking how much Cosette is not in this film.
Yep.
I think the child Cosette, pre-Amanda Seyfried, probably has more lines and songs. It's probably not that much of a gap. They never have a conversation.
No.
They have a very brief little romantic song through the garden fence posts. So they have this. Well, first of all, they have their little glance at each other where they're like, "Oh, fancy you.
Yeah.
I'm in love with you forever. Oh my god." Literally just without even getting close to each other. And then she has one song at the end, I guess, and that's it. But yeah.
Éponine, who was that girl?
That bourgeois to a penny thing.
Éponine, find her for me.
What will you give me?
Anything.
Got you all excited now, but God knows what you see in her. Aren't you all delighted now? No. I don't want your money, sir.
There's not really much more plot that happens from here.
Although there's still an hour and a half of this fucking movie to still go.
So, there's a blockade going... Well, no. They start off by having a little protest at some rich person's funeral.
Yeah. This general who was, the only sympathetic aristocrat, apparently. And so they use his funeral as a rallying point to, start Les Révolutions.
Yeah. Which, initially you think it's going to be the whole of Paris, but it really is just 6 people on a street.
Basically throwing their lives away,
yeah. And the barricade doesn't go that well, really.
Understatement of the century. Doesn't go that way, they get massacred.
Everybody dies.
Yeah. Before they die, Javert, who's still, the local police guy.
Oh, yeah, he pretends to be on their side.
He tries to infiltrate them. Yeah, he tries to infiltrate them. They see right through him because they're this little kid, Gavroche, the little blonde kid, who's basically a radicalized Artful Dodger.
Yeah.
He knows he knows who he is for some reason, so he's I
think it's because he keeps going, "And I am Javert."
Yeah. This little Gavroche kid's in, and he's listening to the. I've heard the soundtrack. I know who you are. So he gets arrested. Well, not arrested, but he gets imprisoned by the revolutionaries.
The soldiers start shooting on the barricade, and there's a bit of a fight. Doesn't last very long.
No, very one-sided.
Yeah, pretty much everybody dies, including what's her face?
Éponine. Yeah,
Éponine.
She takes a bullet. She takes a bullet for Marius. Yeah.
Yeah, because somebody points a gun at Marius, and it's a couple of inches away from his head. She grabs the gun and just puts it towards her chest instead. She could have moved it anywhere.
Yeah,
but she moved it to point at her chest.
Yeah.
It's not like she jumped in front of a gun. She grabbed a gun and pointed it towards herself.
Yeah. I know. Well, I think she was just in love with the idea of the noble self-sacrifice. If I take a bullet for him, he'll definitely love me.
If I take a bullet for him, then at least I'm not lonely anymore.
Yeah. It's basically what her song is. She basically dies for attention.
Yeah. And she just about gets it.
She does. I mean, in her last moments, he
does kiss her on the forehead.
He does, yeah. And
she's like, lower. Lower.
Yes, but before she dies, she confesses that she's been keeping this letter from him, and so she gives him the letter, and that's when Marius sends Gavroche, the little kid, to Jean Valjean because he delivers a reply letter to Cosette, basically. And Valjean sees this, realizes that Cosette has found true love, and he has to protect this man who loves his daughter. So that's when he joins the revolution himself, sees Javert, who has been imprisoned by the revolutionaries, and takes pity on him once again and spares his life and lets him free.
And so Javert runs off into the night. Meanwhile, Eddie Redmayne has been shot in the leg. Or he's unconscious, I don't know.
There's a second revolutionary fight when literally everybody dies.
Yeah, so first of all, Eddie Redmayne has a major injury, but it's not life-threatening, I guess, because he's rich.
Sure,
I assume. I mean, for anybody else in Paris, it probably would be.
Yeah. He gets a bullet wound, then he gets dragged through like a mile of shit.
Yeah, so Hugh Jackman...
How is he not dead like a week after this film closes?
So Hugh Jackman takes him into the sewer to escape. There's a montage. We bump into Sacha Baron Cohen, who steals Hugh Jackman's ring. It's very random. What was he doing down there?
Stealing stuff from corpses.
Oh, right.
I don't know why all the corpses end up in the sewer.
I guess it's a good disposal.
Sure, yeah.
You're not going to get caught, really. Yeah, then Hugh Jackman gets out. Javert's waiting for him, and he's like, "If you take one more step, I'll kill you." Hugh Jackman's like, "That's risky, dude. I'm carrying on. Look, I've just saved this man. I'm covered in shit. I'm gonna go home, have a shower."
Yeah, he's got no fucks left to give.
Yeah, and you can kill me if you want, but I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna do this.
Yeah.
And Javert doesn't kill him, and then he's like, oh, "What's the point of life? I've been trying to catch this man forever, and I just had him in my hands, and I let him go. Why did I do that? What's the point of living anymore?" And he goes on and on about that for about 2 hours.
Yeah, this was as I mentioned, this was the low point of the film for me. Like that song sucks, and it goes on for so long. Yeah. And then eventually,
then he jumps off a bridge right by Notre Dame, smashes his body on part of the river infrastructure, which they really did turn the volume up on that bone crunching sound.
Oh yeah.
Pretty much from there, there's a wedding. Let's just rush through this because it's going on.
We're going long, yeah. So Valjean manages to get Eddie Redmayne, Marius to safety, I guess, to a hospital. He makes a full recovery. Marius, he doesn't marry Cosette right away, but
yeah, they go. They have a wedding. Hugh Jackman feels like he's done with his life, and instantly the life force starts draining from his body.
Yeah,
you can see it happen.
Yeah, he's like, I have fulfilled my narrative purpose, and now I must die.
Yeah, that happens very quickly.
Yeah. So he disappears for several years, I think, or for some time.
I do not know. And on the day of their wedding, Sacha Baron Cohen and Helena Bonham Carter turn up just for one sort of little swan song. Really. Yep. They get kicked out very quickly because they get recognised immediately.
Yeah, like I said, there was no acknowledgement of the fact that their beloved daughter has died.
No, well, nobody cares about her.
No, but they did when she was little.
Oh yeah, true. Yeah,
it's weird that it just never comes up. Also, in the musical, they didn't really make this clear in the film. In the musical, the little kid is her little brother.
All right.
So they've lost both their kids.
Yeah.
In the same weekend, basically.
Wow.
Never comes up.
Bad parents.
Not great parents, no.
Yeah, so that's the last we see of them. And then Cosette and Eddie Redmayne, they're like, oh, I can feel something. I think Hugh Jackman's dying.
Yeah. No, it's because the reason the Thénardiers come back into the wedding for plot purposes is that they know where Hugh Jackman is staying. They know that he's in the convent. I don't know why, but they do. Because he recognises the ring. And so Eddie Redmayne recognises the ring. And that's when he learns that Hugh Jackman dragged him through the sewer. He didn't realise that Hugh Jackman had saved his life like that.
What was that kept secret?
Yeah, I don't know why. Why does Hugh Jackman not tell people all the good deeds he does?
Yeah.
But yeah, and that's when they realise, oh, wow, that man was a saint. And then they go and find him at the convent, and he has his final moment.
So wait, did they think that he wasn't a saint for some reason, so they were just not inviting him to their wedding?
No. What happened was, so he rescues Marius recovers, and then Valjean confesses to Marius that he is an ex-con, and he has to leave because he can't bear to tell Cosette the horrible truth that he stole a loaf of bread 18 years ago to save his sister and his sister's baby's life.
Yeah.
So instead, he must go into exile forever.
Yeah.
And Marius is like, "Bye, bitch." But I don't think Marius knows that the extent to which Valjean had rescued him. I'm sure he figured out that he helped, but it's only when he gets the ring from Thénardier that he realises just how much Valjean had actually done for him. And then he's like, okay, we need to forget what he said. Cosette needs to be reunited with her dad.
Yeah.
And so they go to... Yeah.
So on their wedding day, they go to wherever Hugh Jackman is slowly dying in a church. And they watch as he turns into a ghost, and then him and Anne Hathaway walk away into the distance.
Yep.
And go to heaven. Really?
Pretty much, yeah.
And that is finally the end?
Finally then. I just want to pick up on one tiny thing.
Ugh.
Sorry. I know, but Eddie Redmayne's character arc in this film.
Mm-hmm.
Rich kid turned revolutionary, right?
Mm-hmm.
We see in the first scenes with him his dad or his granddad, who's like, you brought shame on this family.
Yeah.
And he's like, screw you, dad, I don't care. And at the end, when he marries Cosette, his dad is in the background like, you've come home. And then the wedding they have is super rich and fancy. So has he just completely sold out all of his revolutionary ideals and gone back to being a rich aristocrat?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah. Like, the two least deserving characters get the happiest ending, and I don't understand why.
Yeah, pretty much everybody else dies.
Yeah, everyone else ends up dead. Although, I mean, the Thénardiers seem like they're doing all right, apart from the fact that all their kids are dead. They seem happy. They seem happy enough. You know?
Yeah.
They don't really get
doing
the
doing the same old thing.
Yeah.
Losing their hair, both of them.
They're both aging. Yeah, they're both like comically aged up, but essentially, yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it just tickled me that like the whole revolutionary thing really at the end it disappears. Like I mean, the end scene has all the dead characters like, do you hear the people sing? But the living characters, they don't care.
No.
Business as usual.
It's because they're off, making babies or whatever.
They're living their lives, yeah.
Yeah. Becoming king and queen of France.
Yeah, well, maybe that'll backfire.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that was Les Miserables.
That was Les Miserables.
Yeah. Drinking games.
Oh, yes. I need...
bloody time.
Boy, did I need them, yeah.
Okay, first one. Drink whenever anybody sings their own name or the number 24601.
Yeah, that was my first one as well.
Yeah.
Or anytime Hugh Jackman sings a pronoun. No, sorry. Anytime Russell Crowe sings a pronoun or that number of songs. Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
Similarly, drink for musical exposition.
Sure, yeah.
When a character explains...
But the whole thing's a musical.
No, I know that. Okay, so to be more specific, when a character explains something to other characters who already know this information via the medium of song. Mm-hmm. So like, I am Javert. Yeah, I've been in prison of yours for 19 years. I probably know your name, mate.
Yeah, sure.
Lots of that. Or like, I am the mayor of this facility. I'm sure they know.
Drink whenever you see a French flag or candlesticks.
Oh, yes, definitely. Symbolism.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, very good. I think the best one of those is obviously when that other character whose name I don't think we ever even learn, one of the revolutionary guys dies and he gets shot and he falls through the window and like
hangs out the window
with his red flag, like best death ever. He's doing a full comic book guy like death pose. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Okay, my last one is another Russell Crowe one because he is the worst, but also maybe the best. I don't know. Every time Javert appears from nowhere or lurks in a doorway.
Sure. Yeah.
That would be a very good one because it's at least 7 or 8 times.
Oh yeah, definitely. Drink every time Javert stands up on a high thing.
Oh, okay.
So of course, like right at the start, there's when everyone's saying "look down," and he's standing up above everybody. There's multiple times where he sort of teases you with suicide.
Yeah, it's true. It's like just do it. It's a shame there's never a point where he says, "It's no use, Valjean. I have the high ground."
Yeah, yeah. Drink for death.
Drink every time a character dies. Sure, yeah.
And drink whenever somebody steals something. Again, it'd be quite strong, all in like a 2-minute period of like master of the house.
Sure. I was just thinking, who steals? Apart from like the beginning, who steals? But you're right. Yes, they steal everything. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not nailed down.
Okay, before we get to sequels, I just want to let you listeners know that if you've enjoyed this episode or any previous episodes, or if you're just generally a fan of ours, you can support us by going to patreon.com/beyondtheboxset. You can donate as much or as little as you think we're worth. If you do so, you get a few bonus features. You get a bonus show called Beyond the Box Set, where we review cinema releases. We've got the Oscars coming up soon, so it's going to be loads of great content on there. And we've done a bit of a year-end roundup as well, where we've had to squeeze in a few episodes in a very short space of time. Also, if you become Patreon, you get a 30-second advert slot on the main show, once a month per person. Talk about your own podcast, whatever you want. It's up to you, really.
Yep.
Also, once a month, we get a Patreon to choose a film for us to do on the main show. You can come and guest on it if you want to, but you don't have to. And also, you get access to our exclusive Facebook group. Oh, and extended episodes.
Episodes, our newest.
That's our latest thing, so I keep forgetting.
Yes. 10 to 15 minutes, generally, of additional content. All great stuff. Extra plot summary, extra drinking games, more listener submissions. Just more of our content. Yeah.
So, all that's available at patreon.com/beyondtheboxset.
Indeed.
Let's see, Alex. What do you think of Jaws, which is at 97% Rotten Tomatoes?
I find it to be anti-shark propaganda. What do you feel about the Entourage movie, which is at a meager 33%?
I think they finally got Hollywood right. How about It Follows, 97%?
Worse than your parents giving you the sex is evil talk. How do you feel about Juno, which is at 94%?
That would be a movie that celebrates a teenage homewrecker. How about Bewitched at 25%?
Best television adaptation ever put to film. How do you feel about American Hustle at a towering 93%?
Overwrought awards bait. Righteous Kill, 19%.
The movie that Michael Mann wishes he had made when he created Heat.
Sounds about right. I'm Julio.
I'm Alex, and we are the Contrarians.
As you can tell, our thing is that we rage against the Rotten Tomatoes machine.
Regardless of what we really feel.
Find us on Apple Podcasts, SoundCloud, Stitcher, TuneIn.
Facebook, Twitter, we're everywhere.
All right, you want to go first?
So, as we've clearly established, wasn't the biggest fan of this film. But it did get me thinking a lot about kind of musicals and kind of what I like about musicals. 'Cause I'm not somebody who hates musicals. There's a lot of musicals I really like. So I started thinking about a recent musical franchise that's done very, very well. I like a lot more than this, which is the Mamma Mia franchise.
Of course, yeah.
Yeah. And I would say that is a musical with great songs and a terrible story.
Sure. Okay.
Yeah.
So what you're saying is you like ABBA.
Yes, I do. I'm saying I like ABBA, but also it's a fun musical. I like the way that works. I also like I said, I like musicals that have like drama and then songs, and then drama and then songs, not just songs and then songs and then songs and then songs. So there's that. Whereas I think Les Miserables has a good story. Definitely a lot of interesting stuff going on, but to my mind, mostly terrible music.
Yeah.
So I thought, what would happen if you combined the two? So I've done a sequel, not just a retelling. It's a sequel, but it is a sequel to Les Miserables told through the music of ABBA.
Okay. Yeah, sure.
So we're picking up several years after the original. You're going to have to help me with this after a certain point, but we pick up several years after the original. We're picking up with Cosette and Marius.
Okay.
As the only surviving characters, that was kind of a no-brainer.
Yeah.
Everyone else is dead.
Well, you got Helen Bonham Carter.
I guess the Thénardiers are still around as well, sure.
Yeah.
Maybe we can work them in, just, let's find out. Yes, so it's a couple of years later. They are now married and living the life of wealthy French aristocrats. Because as I noted at the end of the film, Marius completely sold out and just became another rich landowner-y kind of guy with his big wedding and his filled with people in like wigs and jewellery.
Yeah.
He's now inherited his father's millions or however much money and completely sold out on his beliefs because he is a prat. Not a good character.
No.
Cosette, on the other hand, I'm going to try and redeem her a little bit because the original didn't really give her a personality. She was just like the prize. So I'm going to say she's actually now very unhappy in this marriage. Partly because she married him without getting to know him and didn't realise that he was a prat. And now that she got to know him, she's realised that he is a prat. But also, because she's inherited Jean Valjean's empathy, because he raised her.
I thought you were going to say his candlesticks.
Well, she also inherited the candlesticks. Maybe the candlesticks are a symbol, like they remind. She lights them and remembers her adopted father,
and
all the good lessons that he. In fact, that could work really well, and all the good lessons that he taught her about, empathy and being a good person, and so and she doesn't feel great about the fact that she's living this very privileged life when the poor of France are still suffering terribly. It's still much like the original. There's a huge amount of poverty in France at this time. They're going past it every day and they're just ignoring it, turning the other way. And she really struggles with that. And also she's not very happy in her marriage. So So this is obviously going to be built around the first big number, which is of course going to be money, money, money.
Makes sense.
She can be mournfully singing that one while walking with her big dresses and fans through homeless people begging her, Maybe it's like there's a big chorus of paupers singing it with her. So
that makes sense.
That'd be good, So anyway, she starts secretly volunteering at a local poor shelter without Marius's permission. And she kind of gets to know a lot of the people there and she becomes very well-liked and helps them out, gives them bread and gives them money and gives them shelter. So after a while, one of the people that she encounters there is a young Spanish soldier who's fallen on hard times. And they bond very quickly.
I also know where this one's going.
We know where this one's going,
yeah.
They bond very quickly, and he inspires her with his tales of revolution and adventure. And he's walking her back to her house one evening. And
he says, what would you say if your mother was here? Does your mother know where you are?
It's not quite. Not quite. That's for later. No, they're walking home one evening, and there's something in the air that night.
Yeah.
And the stars.
Is it the smell of Italian? And he's like, oof, mamma mia.
Yeah. Not quite, no. The stars are bright.
Yeah.
And he says...
Let's go to London. I've heard there's a really good underground station there.
You know what? If you want to do this, it's fine.
Sorry,
I can stop. I can stop. No, obviously his name is Fernando.
Yeah.
Dickhead. And so they have a brief little moment of passion. Maybe he goes in to kiss her. But she pushes him away because even though she's very attracted to him, she pushes him away and insists that she's a married woman and she couldn't possibly,
Yeah.
She's got her virtues to think of, and she races home. But when she gets there, she finds a furious Marius holding an anonymous note that reveals everything about her secret double life. He's angry and heartbroken, and he asks her, "So, hey, Cosette, what's the name of the game?" It's another Rammer song. Maybe not one of the most famous ones, but
sorry, I didn't know that one.
Yeah, fine. And he kicks her out onto the streets. So much like her mother, she soon finds herself penniless and desperate. She goes through an absolute downward spiral. So she soon finds herself hanging out with the local prostitutes down on the docks.
Sure.
Fortunately, she's spared from having to sell her hair and teeth because she's taken under the wing of the mother prostitute, who's a kindly old whore.
Cher?
Of course it's Cher. What role was Cher born to play other than kindly old prostitutes at this point? She's in full burlesque mode. And obviously this is just an excuse as well to get Cher to sing Gimme, Gimme, Gimme a Man After Midnight. Because she's like leading the prostitutes in song,
Yeah. Business isn't going so well. It's 11:59.
Exactly. And it's 12:30.
Oh, okay, sure.
Yeah.
I forgot that lyric.
So she sings that, and Cosette becomes like her disciple. And Cosette soon rises up the prostitute, the ranks. She becomes like quite successful, I would say. She's not happy, obviously. It's not what she wants to be doing, but she's getting by. A woman's got to do what a woman's got to do.
Yeah.
That's not another song, but it was. And she's making a living. It turns out her trick is to always go for the drunk young sailors who are just off the boat, who are usually so drunk that they pass out before she has to do anything anyway, and she can just seduce them, steal their money, and she doesn't have to do anything. So,
okay,
and that's when she sings to these drunken sailors, "Does your mother know?"
Okay.
That can be a whole number where she's singing that song. I could dance with you, honey, and they're all drunk and horny, but they pass out drunk, and she steals all their stuff and boots them out, and doesn't have to do anything. So she's good at being a prostitute.
Yeah, okay.
And I'm thinking maybe as well you could have like a cameo with like Julie Walters and Christine Baranski as like another pair of like senior hookers.
Oh yeah, that works. Just like one shot.
Yeah, just have them cameo. Yeah. There's loads of cameos in Les Miserables from the musical. A lot of like the character, like the bishop is the original Jean Valjean, and one of the prostitutes in the I Dreamed a Dream scene was the original Éponine. So they're sprinkled in. So it'd be fun to do that in this, but with Mamma Mia actors. So yeah. Julie Walters and Christine Baranski can play a couple of old prostitutes as well, who are like Cher's wing ladies. I don't know. So she's living her prostitute life, living her best life as well as she can. But then she encounters, at some point, she's going to encounter Éponine, who is not really dead. Maybe Éponine's also working as a prostitute.
Okay, yeah.
So what's going to happen is that my idea is that Éponine. It turns out Éponine didn't die on that day when she took a bullet for Marius. No, she somehow she lived. We don't need to explain how. But she's
twin sister?
No, it's got to be the same girl. She has to live. Maybe she wasn't that badly wounded, but Marius dropped her so fast. Like she passed out from loss of blood or something. Yeah. Or shock. And then Marius just took the letter, was like, "Oh, bye, bitch," and then ran after Cosette. And then when she came round, Marius had already run off with Cosette, basically.
Sounds good.
And she was consumed with jealousy and also anger and resentment that he treated her like that, and Cosette got everything. So she's actually the one who dubbed her into Marius.
Ah, okay.
She wrote the anonymous letter to Marius. She's been spying on her all this time.
Does she still want him?
Yes, but also she just wants revenge on Cosette, even though Cosette's not done anything wrong. Yeah, but she wants revenge on her for for taking the life that should have been hers. Damn it. So yeah, what other song did I have for that? Let me have a look. Sorry,
I don't know. But do they go to London at any point?
Why are you so obsessed with London? Waterloo.
Yeah.
Well, it's also the name of a French battle, but
is it?
Yeah, the Battle of Waterloo. That's why I was defeated. You won the war. No,
sorry. No, you found my two weaknesses there, John. It's French history and
pop music,
ABBA lyrics.
Sure. Yeah, so she confronts Éponine, or Éponine confronts her, and they both air out their grievances. And she's like, you took the life I should have had. And she's like, I didn't mean to. And Marius is a pratt anyway. I'm better without him. And maybe the song for this can be The Winner Takes It All.
Oh, yeah.
Because Cosette was the winner. She took it all.
Yeah.
But maybe Éponine wanted it. So, and maybe they, sort out their differences through the medium of ABBA songs. Mm-hmm. And then at some point, Fernando has to come back, obviously. Oh, that's it. Okay. So yeah, she meets Éponine, sorts all that out. They have their little song battle. And then the revolution starts again, and the streets of Paris become engulfed in revolution once again, and there's lots of fighting happening. Okay. And the French Legion take over the streets and put everyone on lockdown. It's the sound of Super Trooper.
Sure.
Yeah, it's a curfew. Tonight the Super Trooper lights are shining, nothing else. Yeah. You're gonna have to change a word or two of the original song. That's not really what it means, but we'll go with it.
Yeah.
There's also an obscure ABBA song called Soldiers that could use. So either works. Yeah.
Yeah, sure.
It wasn't a single.
If you say so.
I'm trying to stick to the single so you can at least vaguely engage, but I'll avoid the album tracks, but yeah, something like that. So the French Revolution happens again. The soldiers are on the streets. It's all very dangerous, and Fernando drifts back into her life. He's back on the streets. He's part of this revolution, maybe. Mm-hmm. So they reunite and they apologise to each other. They sing, knowing me, knowing you. Yeah, it's the best they could do.
Yeah,
and then he's like, you know what? We've had our rough times, but we're here now. War on the streets. Take a chance on me. So she's like, oh, all right, sure, fine, whatever. And then that's it, because and then he sings her he sings her a nice little ballad, take a chance on me or something.
Yeah.
And then she says, thank you for the music. I'm kind of speeding through them now. And then they get married and live happily ever after, I guess.
And the end.
And that's the end.
And we run out of ABBA songs.
We've run out of ABBA songs, so
great.
The plot.
So Waterloo over the credits.
Yeah, Waterloo. Yeah. Then the Battle of Waterloo happens, and then the credits roll. Yeah.
Yeah. Great.
Yeah,
good,
and Dancing Queen, and
oh yeah, somehow
an SOS, and
maybe it turns out who is royalty this whole time.
Yes, okay, perfect. Yeah, got it. Rewind. Yeah, that's perfect. So she decides to take a chance on him.
Yeah.
And only then does he reveal he's not a penniless pauper. He's actually the Prince of Spain, and he wanted to live anonymously on the streets of Paris for a while.
Yep.
And obviously he couldn't do this in Spain; he'd be too recognisable. So he fled to France, lived as a pauper to get a sense of what it was really like, so he could understand the common people. And he vows that if she takes the chance on him and marries him, then they will help the poor together as the King and Queen of Spain. And so they get married. I do. And then she is the dancing queen.
Yeah.
We end with she's the dancing queen of Spain, and she helps all the Spanish and French poor people with her money. And
there we go.
Yeah, there we go.
Yeah, that works.
Great. For a plot that was a third written at best, I think we managed to pull that together.
Yeah. What was it called?
Oh, that was called Les Miserables 2, an ABBA musical.
Nice.
Yeah. Or maybe Les Miserables 2, Dancing Queen.
Sure. Okay. Sorry, do you mind?
Sure, yeah.
Yeah. So you said that you maybe wrote a third of yours and we did the rest. Well, good luck.
Oh, here we go.
Mine's probably less. Who knows? I think this will be quite easy to get on board with.
Okay.
So it's called The Wretched.
The Wretched. Oh, okay, I like it. It's a good title for a horror movie, I think. The Wretched.
Okay. Well, I literally typed in Les Miserables into Google Translate.
Okay, yeah. Oh, I see. Yeah, that's kind of...
Yeah. So this is set in present-day Britain.
Okay. Oh, have you gone a bit political?
Not intentionally, but I'm sure.
Okay.
I'm sure it will. And we pick up with Taron Egerton playing a character called John Johnson.
What a boring name, John Johnson. Sure. Okay.
It's the most English version of Jean Valjean I could come up with.
Oh, I guess true. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sure.
So Taron Egerton is playing John Johnson.
Sure.
Who is currently doing community service.
Now, have you cast him because you know he can sing? Is this a musical?
Partially, it is a musical. However, I've not written
any
songs.
Sure. Okay. Fine.
I just thought I like him. He's on my mind at the moment. Just put him as the lead in the film.
Oh, okay.
I know that he can take a film. He can lead a film.
Sure. Yeah.
So anyway, he's doing community service in the torrential rain.
Okay. So he's a prisoner, or he's an ex-con or a convict.
Community service instead of going to jail or something.
Sure. So he's committed a crime and been sentenced to.
Yeah, he got caught for stealing some pick and mix from Woolworths.
He got caught
stealing some pick and mix.
Oh, stealing. Okay. I don't know why I heard fisting.
Wow, you've something on your mind. So now he is litter picking with a bunch of fellow offenders.
Okay.
And at one point he does look up by mistake and catches the eye of his supervisor while he was muttering under his breath.
Oh wait, you said this was set in the present day. Woolworths closed like 20 years ago.
Okay, fine. I don't know. He stole an aubergine from Waitrose.
That's
the same.
These are just the two crimes you've committed in your life. I remember.
No.
Pick and mix and aubergines. You've got so much more middle class with your criminal behaviour as you get older. Like, my God.
Okay, so yeah, once they finish their shift, they'll go and hand in their tools to the supervisor, who I cast Tom Felton.
Oh, Draco
Malfoy.
Malfoy. Sure, yeah. That works.
Yeah.
He's got a villainous face.
Yeah. And as John walks by, the supervisor instructs him to stop, and he addresses him by his criminal case number, 24601.
24601, great, yeah.
But sir, my name is John Johnson, and I am Albert.
Albertson?
Just
Albert.
Just Albert.
Sure.
He's not Javert Vertson, is he?
That's true, no, he doesn't have a surname.
So
He's like Madonna.
And I am Albert. That's just in a very goofy way.
Okay. Like, is he a nicer character than Javert, or is he still
Oh, he's
still a villain?
Yeah.
Okay.
And so then Albert gestures to...
Is he Prince Albert?
No.
Okay.
I just picked a name that sounded like Javert.
All right, fine.
Get off my back. He gestures towards a discarded bag for life that they've missed, which has the Union Jack printed on it.
Sure, okay.
And so John has to go and pick it up, and he tries to pick it up, but it's caught on a piece of rock underground, and so he pulls with all his might, showing off all his arm muscles.
Sure. This is Taron Egerton, yeah?
Yeah. And eventually it comes loose, and he takes it over and puts it in the bin next to Albert.
Okay.
And we then get a montage of John walking amongst the Yorkshire Dales until he eventually walks into a pub.
Okay. So now he's...
So this is some time later, I guess.
He's served his time, he's broken parole, he's now in a pub in somewhere.
Yeah. Though he doesn't have any money because he's actually on universal credit, so, he can't really afford a thing.
Okay, this has got a little bit political.
He's basically starving.
Uh-huh, yeah.
But luckily, the barman is very nice, played by Hugh Jackman.
Oh, a little cameo to bring it back. Oh, because the bishop. Yeah,
Yeah,
like it. Okay.
exactly.
Full circle.
Exactly,
Nice.
yeah. So, yeah, the barman takes pity on him, as he's clearly very thirsty from his walk and, looks quite dishevelled and stuff. And so
Imagine if your barman looked like Hugh Jackman. Imagine walking into a bar and the guy behind the bar looks like Hugh Jackman.
It would be quite intense.
It would be a lot intense, yeah.
And so he gives him a free pint of lemonade.
Just lemonade?
I mean, beer costs money, John.
All right, fine.
Once John has finished that, he helps him.
You could have chosen a name that wasn't mine. It's a little distracting. Carry on. It's fine.
Once John Johnson finished that, he helps himself to another lemonade over the bar
Steady on, mate. 2 lemonades?
without asking the barman.
Okay.
At that moment, 2 police officers walk in.
Uh-huh.
They recognise him as he's not attended his community service for a few shifts now.
Sure.
He should have been going. You see him reaching over the bar and they say that you're going to go to prison for this, John. But Hugh Jackman comes back and he hears the threat, and being an unrealistically nice Hugh Jackman, he says that John Johnson, he actually works at the bar now. That's why he's missed his community service.
Uh-huh.
That's the good deed.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, because if his good deed is giving away half a pint of tap lemonade, it's not quite letting a thief run away with all of your silver. But sure.
Yeah.
But no, giving him a job, that's very nice. Good.
Yeah, basically. And that's as far as I've got, and I was hoping that we could kind of riff on that, to like, what is the British version, the British modern day version?
Oh, so that's what
of the rest
that's
of
what
Les
you're
Mis.
going with here. It's a British take on.
Yeah.
Okay, so he starts working in the pub behind the bar.
Well, no. Basically, that's the good deed done. Maybe he just lets him go and says, "Look, I saved you from the cops there."
Okay, sure. But
so,
now you must do a good deed in return.
I guess.
Or
yes.
you must become a good man.
Yeah, just like, hey, look, I've been good to you. Actually, no, what I've got written here actually fits. So once the men are gone, John asks the barman why he did that, and the barman says, "Well, I actually do a podcast and I need to watch some films for it. So I just recently watched Pay It Forward.
That's a film we've not done yet.
So I just paid you forward a good deed. So if you could go and pay that forward,
okay,
then great. Please do that.
Okay, cool. Oh, so of course, so podcasts save the day, and and also the very forgettable film Pay It Forward. Yeah. Okay. Well, let's say that's as far as you got, right?
Yeah.
So
now we pretty much cut to Anne Hathaway's role.
Right. So let's do a time. So let's do let's be true to the original and do a little time jump. 7 or 8 years later, and let's say that Taron Egerton, John Johnson, has now. I can't think of a more British profession than landlord. So
he's a landlord.
Maybe he's now. Maybe he did take a job behind the bar, and maybe he took over as the landlord when Hugh Jackman died.
Oh, okay.
I don't know why someone in Hugh Jackman's rude health would have died so young, but Hit by a car, who knows?
Yeah, maybe just a bit of mystery.
Mystery, yeah, maybe he killed him. We'll never know. Yeah, so maybe he is now a successful landlord himself, running this pub, or running a pub.
Sure, okay. And so there are a few bar ladies behind the bar.
Uh-huh.
And basically all of them, apart from one, they're all complete bitches.
Sure, yeah.
One of them, played by... Who'd he cast?
I mean, who's the British Anne Hathaway? Florence Pugh?
Florence Pugh?
She's due for an Oscar, yeah.
All right, let's give her one.
Yeah. I bet you would.
All right. Yeah, so she is the Anne Hathaway person.
Sure.
And at one point, Hugh Jackman, the landlord, he has to step out the back because somebody who was taking out some...
Do you mean John Johnson?
Yes, sorry.
Taron Egerton,
Sorry,
yeah.
yes, yeah. John Johnson has to step out the back because somebody who was unloading a lorry full of barrels of beer drops a barrel of beer on them and they can't lift it off.
Sure.
And
he's got some deadlifting to do, yeah.
yeah. By the way, Draco Malfoy is just peering around the corner at this point.
Sure.
Because, I don't know, maybe he's got the hard-ons for Taron Egerton.
Mm-hmm, yeah. He stepped in for a pint. He's like, I recognise that sexy landlord.
Yeah, that works.
Yeah.
And so Taron Egerton, he lifts up this barrel and Draco Malfoy is like, boom, it's you.
Yeah.
I'm really mixing up my names here.
A little bit, yeah.
And in the meantime, all the barmaids, they're being absolutely horrible to Florence Pugh, and in fact they...
Maybe, okay.
The bar manager, who is basically one of them, but not Taron Egerton, like he's the landlord, he's not the bar manager, and they managed to get the bar manager to fire her.
Yeah. Okay. Does she also have a daughter that she's having to look after?
I would say so. That's kind of where we got to go.
Okay.
So this happens to Florence Pugh. She gets kicked out. She's lost her job, and she thinks like, okay, well, cash. I really need. I don't have any income anymore. I need to look after this daughter. So I'm not going to get a taxi home. I'm going to walk home.
All the humanity.
She gets hit by a car. She's dead.
Oh, okay. So no horrible fall into prostitution. Just boom, drunk driver.
Would you write that? Have you got a better idea?
I don't know. It's your story.
Because I was thinking like drunk driver. She's dead. Maybe she was drunk. Maybe Florence Pugh was drunk at the time, and she's now left this daughter an orphan.
Maybe the drunk driver is Tom Felton.
Oh,
maybe he's racked with guilt, but he sublimates that guilt into torturing Taron Egerton for some reason.
Quite possibly, yeah. Now, Taron Egerton, also being the landlord, he hears about this fairly quickly on the grapevine. And
oh no, okay, I've got it. It's not Tom, or maybe it is, maybe it isn't. He feels so bad that he served the guy. He's so distracted by Tom Felton that he's not paying attention to who's being served.
Oh, perfect.
So he serves.
Perfect.
Yeah, he serves a guy who's too drunk to drive, who he knows drove here. That drunk driver knocks out and kills Florence Pugh.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton feels horribly guilty about that, and so decides to
adopts the daughter.
Adopts the daughter. There we go.
Yeah. Brilliant. But because Tom Felton has found him there, and he is still wanted for
breaking parole,
for breaking parole, and I guess that's an offence.
Yeah.
Taron Egerton does need to move on.
So he now goes into hiding,
and so now they move down to London.
Okay, the little girl and him. What's the little girl called? Cosette is not an English
Charlotte.
Charlotte, perfect. Yeah,
easily
done. Yeah.
Yeah. So they moved down to London, and we catch up with them about 15 years later.
Okay.
When Charlotte is all grown up, and she has turned into.
So what? How old is she now? Like 18, 20?
18, 20 sort of thing. Oh, what's her face? Aaron... No, that's somebody else. The girl who was in Split and Glass.
Oh, Anya Taylor-Joy?
Yes.
Yeah, sure. Okay, Anya Taylor-Joy.
Yeah, and then he said Aaron Taylor-Johnson.
Yeah, that's different guy. Yeah.
Yeah, but not far off. Like
name-wise, pretty similar. I don't think they're related. But
No. Yeah, so that's who she is now.
Okay.
And then she has to meet Ed Sheeran. Let's just make it Ed Sheeran.
Oh god, he doesn't even act, but fine.
You want to make Rupert Grint then? I'm thinking of other ginger people.
Keep it. Oh yeah, well I mean, if you have a little Harry Potter reunion, keep it as Rupert Grint.
Okay, so
he needs the work.
Yeah, so she sees Rupert Grint across the street.
Sure, they fall in love.
Because
who can resist a Ginner?
It's the same old story.
Yeah.
Now Rupert Grint, even though his family are very strongly Tory.
Ah, okay.
He likes to be a bit of a lefty, really.
Okay, right.
He's in with a lefty crowd.
Sure.
And there's a big protest gonna happen outside Parliament in one more day.
Okay. For like Brexit or something?
Yeah, sure.
Just reason for
that
a
works,
protest. Yeah. Let's say this takes place a year ago and there was still hope. Yeah.
And well, yeah, basically they have the protest, It's an Extinction Rebellion protest, of course.
Extinction Rebellion, perfect.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, so he's in fact...
And they're doing a blockade on a bridge.
Perfect, okay, yeah.
That's how that goes. It doesn't go that well. All his friends get arrested, even the person who absolutely adores him.
Oh, so we need someone who's in love with Rupert Grint. Emma Watson. Just throw her in there.
Yeah, sure. Okay.
Yeah.
She's got the hots for him,
Sure.
but somehow she takes his arrest. Meanwhile, Taron Egerton saves him by, I don't know, climbing through the London sewers, I guess.
Because he finds out that he's in love with his daughter.
Yes.
Sure, okay.
Yeah.
Okay. So what's the equivalent? We're not just recapping the story. So if this is British equivalents, okay. So Extinction Rebellion, that's fun. So the police get involved. It turns a bit violent. You know, people start getting hurt. Oh, so maybe Draco Malfoy, Tom Felton. Maybe Tom Felton has since risen through the ranks. He's not just a local copper up in Wakefield or whatever now. Now he's like
He's a spy, MI6.
Yeah, maybe. Yeah, he's infiltrated Extinction Rebellion to try and get information on where their processes are going to be.
Yeah,
but he's also like the police chief or something. So he's responsible for like suppressing these
protests.
Basically. Yeah. So maybe at some point, Taron Egerton spots him and realizes that we can't cross paths again because he's on the lookout for me. So he's going to take Anna Taylor-Joy away. But yeah, then the revolution happens. There's violence. He finds out that Rupert Grint. So many celebrities floating around. There's so many characters. He finds out that
that's the difficulty it gets when you recast the whole film.
Yeah. He found that Rupert Grint is in love with his daughter or his adopted daughter. So Rupert Grint gets injured in the protest, and rather than pulling him through the sewer, maybe he has to pull him through the only place even dirtier and more disgusting than the sewer, the London Underground.
Oh, the London Underground.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
I know.
Oh dear.
Yeah.
Waterloo. Sorry.
Yeah, there you go. Wrong sequel, Harry. But I mean, if you want to have some other songs in yours too, plenty to go around.
I guess that on the Underground, you know what? They bump into Sacha Baron Cohen.
Sure, he's just there.
Yeah, he's there. Maybe he's there as a little cameo. Maybe he mugs him.
Yeah, he just plays a general mugger.
Yeah.
Sure. Or a ticket inspector.
Oh, the worst.
Yeah, the worst kind
the lowest of the low.
Yeah.
He plays a ticket inspector.
Or a busker.
Yeah, you know what? Actually, that's what they have on the Underground, isn't it?
They don't really have ticket inspectors. It's all electronic. But yeah, a busker.
Okay, so yeah, he's playing a busker. Let's see, Taron Egerton, he goes to give him some change and he gives away, maybe he's got like a lucky coin or something, or a ring falls off his finger or something like that.
Sure. Or maybe Sacha Baron Cohen slips the ring off his finger, you know.
Yeah, sure.
With sleight of hand. Yeah.
That works. Well, we're at the end, really. They get to safety. The two of them get married. Meanwhile, Taron Egerton has admitted to his crime of not attending litter picking.
Yeah. Sure. Humanity's greatest monster, yeah.
Yeah, after stealing his aubergine.
Yeah.
And, so for that, Rupert Grint's like, no, go away, go and die in that church or whatever. And so, yeah, he goes to die in the church. Hugh Jackman is there to say, like, oh, bye. You know.
Oh, he comes back he comes back as a ghost?
Well, no, because he was the bishop in the first one, wasn't he? He was there at the start.
Oh, okay, so now he's gone from landlord to priest.
Yeah, sure, that works.
Okay.
Whatever.
Maybe staggers into a local Wetherspoons, and Hugh Jackman's now working there.
Oh, that's even better. You're good at this. There's a reason you're here.
Thank you.
Yeah, so he staggers into a Wetherspoons. Hugh Jackman's there, and he's just drinking himself to death, basically.
Sure.
And when Sacha Baron Cohen shows up at that wedding as a busker at a wedding,
sure,
because they're having a big fancy wedding at like St. Paul's Cathedral or something, Sacha Baron Cohen's busking outside.
Sure, yeah.
That works.
Yeah, absolutely.
By the way, Rupert Grint has now gone full Tory.
Great. Oh, he's backtracked.
He's gone back to his roots.
Great stuff.
Yeah.
Cool.
And then he sees the ring on this busker and he's like, oh, wait, that's my father-in-law to be's ring or whatever. And it's like, where is he? He's at the church. He's dying. Okay, let's go and find him.
So he doesn't know.
Oh, he's at the Wetherspoons.
So Rupert Grint doesn't know that Taron Egerton dragged him through the London Underground for several miles.
Correct.
To save his life. Okay.
He's never been down there.
Okay.
Rupert Grint.
Of course, he's a Tory. Of course, he doesn't take the Underground. Yeah.
No. Well, he takes the helicopter.
Yeah, exactly. Cool.
Yeah. And so he finds his way to this Wetherspoons, a place that he's never ever been before.
Of course.
And then it finishes with Rupert Grint, Anya Taylor-Joy, whatever her name is.
You picked her, yeah.
And Taron Egerton all just having a pint together in the local pub.
Over a song?
Yeah, sure.
Okay. Does he die or does he just get better? Does he just sober up?
I think he just sobers up.
Okay, fine. It's much happier. Great.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It just finishes on a bit of a flat note, really.
Sure, okay.
You know, it was just what Britain's kind of tending towards, really.
Sure, yeah. Less dramatic than the French, yeah. Okay. Okay, so that was a very, like, low-stakes version. Apart from poor old Florence Pugh getting mown down by a drunk driver.
Yeah.
Nice little low-stakes British retelling of...
Well, I mean, I guess that's what Britain is compared to French Revolutionary France.
Oh, sure, yeah.
You know,
we don't like a fuss. Yeah.
Like, we're quite low stakes right now.
Yeah.
But that was The Wretched.
I like it. Cool.
Worked out all right.
Yeah, not your strongest idea in the world, but we pulled it together in the end. Yeah.
Well, neither was yours, so take that.
All right, fine. I'm just saying, yeah. They can't all be winners, but, you know.
Yeah, so I guess that is that. Next
is that.
up, listener submissions.
Listener
Let's
submissions.
see what we got. And I've got a bunch today, so I'm going to have to do some vetting as I read.
Just do the good ones, please, yeah.
So Patrick Barnes has got a prequel idea.
Okay.
It's about prisoner 24600.
Oh, okay. The previous... Is this like 007, 006? Like,
Yeah.
Okay.
Who has had an absolutely boring life of slavery, but it's still a musical. And Javert says, "And I am Javert!" in response to every prisoner 24600 music number.
Right. So it turns out Javert is actually just obsessed with all the prisoners. It's not just...
Yeah.
He's just massively fastidious.
All 24,601
Oh my
of
god!
them, yeah.
Just constantly reminding them of his name and what they did. He's just a pain in the arse. Great.
Yeah, yeah. Jackson John Tobias says, "Too miserable, too furious."
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Freddie Baker says, for a prequel, less miserable.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah. Matthew Lower says, an Ocean's 11 style movie about Jean Valjean stealing the loaf of bread.
That's the best one so far. I like that a lot. Yeah.
Aaron Alexander Jones says, Le Nonchalant.
Le Nonchalant. Oh, that's perfect. I love that. Le Nonchalant.
Marnie McGrath says, Le Desperados.
Le Desperados, yeah. I'm on board.
Yeah. Joshua Carson says, My Life is Pain. It's about a French guy making bread who's paranoid about people stealing his bread.
Oh, pain pan, because pan is French for bread.
Yeah.
Right, like that too.
But yeah, that's what I've got. What have you got?
Perfect. Okay, I have a few as well. Jer Moran said Prisoner 24601, as in 2.
Yeah.
Eric Richard said Les Miserables 2, less miserable.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Kopp said Les Miserables 2, Afterlife. Javert climbs out of the fiery depths of hell to pursue the spirit of Jean Valjean to the very ends of the cosmos. Mm-hmm. Scott Meeker said Tous les Tout Miserables.
Yep, sure.
Brian Markowski said Cats Miserables. Magical computer-animated dancing cats retell the classic Victor Hugo tale of love and revolution. Mm-hmm. So essentially, same story, they're all cats.
Yeah.
Kevin Hendricks said Les Miseries. Victor Hugo, the author of Les Miserables, which was a book before it was a film, is injured in a horse-drawn carriage accident and rescued by retired nurse Annie Wilco, who claims to be his number one fan.
Okay.
Her obsession quickly turns dark, however, when Victor reads the end of his latest opus and she realises that he's killed her beloved Jean Valjean.
Oh.
So it's basically misery.
Yeah.
Very good. Stuart Jipp said, I don't know, but the third one has to be called Très Miserable. I really hope nobody's already said that. Well done, Stuart. Jack McCarter said, Mo Miserable, Mo Problems.
Good.
You know, it's Mo Money, Mo Problems.
Yep.
Yeah. Over on Twitter, False Starts Podcast, at False Starts Pod, said, there's already so many sequel books out there. My favourite one begins with Javert just surviving his suicide fall. There's no real explanation other than he just survives. So, want to read that book? Sounds good. Simon the Depressed Movie Fan, at Depressed Movie, said, Les Miserables 2, Cry Harder, in which Jean Valjean and Javert come back from the dead to put aside their differences and fight sing against the Prussian army in Alsace-Lorraine. Mm-hmm. It's history, bitch. So I think that's going into like World War One and stuff. Mm-hmm. We really like musicals, at WRLM Podcast, said, Les Mis 2, less Mis, but still pretty Mis. At Quiz and Hers said, Les Mis with a Z, so M-I-Z. Mm-hmm. It's just a low-budget remake starring that reality TV star wrestler. There's an American WWE wrestler, apparently, called The Miz.
Okay, sure.
He can probably sing, right? Question mark. So, I mean, if Russell Crowe could get away with it, then yes. Mm-hmm. Mikey Claims, at Mikey_Claims, said, there is no sequel. Everyone's dead. It's 2020. Well observed. Academy Queens, at Academy_Queens, said, Les Mis 2. It can't be much worse than the first. Couldn't agree more. At Listening to Film, said, Les Miserables 2. The bread rises again. Left destitute after abandoning his studies to fight a failed revolution, Marius is caught stealing a loaf of bread for his wife and child. Songs include All This Has Happened Before, Will It Happen Again? And Will Tomorrow Come? Mm-hmm. At Jara Penguin said, Les Miserables de la Dépression. Marius is haunted by the ghosts of his former comrades and the fear that he has sold out. Songs include I Still Hear the People Sing, A Heart Full of Ugh, and Bonjour, Mr. Engels. And finally, Cinema Adventure Podcast at Cine Adventure Pod said, the same thing, but they're all cats.
Great.
Yes.
Yep.
Just crazy enough to work. Or perhaps not.
Yeah.
So thank you everybody for those sequel ideas. We ask for your listener submissions every week, a few days before we record, by putting posts out on Facebook and Twitter where you can post your ideas. So make sure you like and follow our pages if you don't want to miss out. To listen to more episodes of Beyond the Box Set, you can subscribe and browse our back catalogue on any podcasting platform, including iTunes, Spotify, Google Play, and many others, on all of which you can also leave us a 5-star review, which we really appreciate. As mentioned before, we're also available on Patreon, which is exclusively for the people who would rate us 5 stars or more if they could. You can find all those links in the description below or at beyondtheboxset.com. And next week, Harry, it's a me pick.
Yep.
I could have been horrible and picked something that, in revenge for this, but I'm not that petty. So I have 2 options in my mind, but they're both from the same director. Basically, one of the films that we watched recently for the Oscars was The Irishman, which neither of us were that keen on. I liked it more than you. But I don't think we've ever... It made me realise, but I don't think we've ever done a Martin Scorsese film on this podcast.
Yeah.
We're not going to do The Irishman, don't worry. But I think it'd be good to do one of his classics, maybe. So I have 2 in mind. Have you actually seen Gangs of New York?
Yes.
Do you like it?
I think so. It was a long time ago, and I don't remember it that well.
Would you rather do that or do Goodfellas?
Let's do Goodfellas.
Let's do Goodfellas. Okay, cool. Great. But that's probably more of his classic. Like, that's from, peak Scorsese.
Yeah, because I've not seen that one, and I've been going to tick off the list.
Yeah, so, okay, great. So that's easy. Next week, we will be back with the Martin Scorsese classic, Goodfellas.
That's a big one.
Yeah, a nice big classic, yeah.
Yeah.
So let's keep going. I think start of the new year. Let's have a few big iconic ones,
Yeah, let's make every film bigger than the last.
I don't know how sustainable it is, but sure. Avatar, coming soon.
Yeah. Okay, thank you everybody for listening.
Thank you very much, and join us next week.
Yeah,
See you later.
next time.
Bye.
Bye.